Welcome back to the deep dive. It is Monday, February 16th, 2026. And, I have to say, looking at the calendar, we're deep in it. We are deep in the future we were all
We
promised.
are indeed flying cars. No, but AI that can write your emails for you. Yes.
Exactly. And speaking of I kind of want to start today by just looking at my phone. This little black rectangle that supposedly holds the key to my entire romantic destiny?
Supposedly.
I've got the apps, I've
Yeah.
got the smart match algorithms that claim they know my soul better than my own mother does. I've
hmm
got compatibility scores calculated down to the decimal point. And yet,
And yet,
and yet I feel like everyone I know is just tired. It feels like we are collectively burnt out. The whole promise was connection, but the reality feels a lot more like, I don't know, data entry.
you're hitting on the exact tension that I think defines the dating landscape in 2026. We are technically more connected than we've ever been in human history,
On paper, yeah.
but we're suffering from this profound deficit of real intimacy. We spent the last, 5, 6 years outsourcing our social lives to algorithms, and the result isn't efficiency, it's just exhaustion.
It feels like work. That's the
Yeah.
thing. It feels like a second job where the pay is just awful and the HR department is completely non-existent.
That is a perfect way to put it. One of the sources we're looking at today, the dating coach Haley Quinn, she describes the current state of these apps as human window shopping.
Oof. Human window shopping.
Oof. Human window shopping. That's visceral.
It is, isn't it? I
That
mean,
thing.
you scroll, you judge, you objectify, you swipe, you treat a living, breathing human being like a pair of sneakers you might want to buy, but, you probably won't.
Right.
And because it's so low stakes on the screen, it becomes incredibly high volume. You go through hundreds of faces. And that whole process, it desensitizes you. It strips away the humanity of the person on the other side of that screen.
And I think that desensitization, it has a real cost. We're seeing people who are they're opting out. They're deleting the apps.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's the big problem,
And here's the problem. They have completely forgotten how to do the other thing.
the real world thing.
Exactly. They delete the app, they walk into a bar or maybe a coffee shop, and they have this sudden, terrifying realization. I have no idea how to talk to a human being without a screen between us.
We're calling this whole phenomenon romantic hibernation.
Romantic hibernation. Okay, break that down for me. Is that just like a fancy term for being lazy?
No, it's much deeper than laziness. It's a regression. I mean, think about the last 6 or 7 years. We went through the pandemic, then that whole post-pandemic digital explosion, then the massive AI integration of 24 and 25.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot. And for a huge chunk of the population, the actual muscle of in-person social risk-taking have atrophied. It's like being in a cast for 5 years. You take the cast off, and the leg is withered. You can't just go run a marathon.
We've forgotten the messy, awkward, real-time art of conversation.
We have.
So we're basically a generation of socially awkward teenagers again.
In a way, yes, but with adult-sized anxieties. And so the mission of this deep dive is to be the physical therapy for that withered leg.
Okay.
We're drawing from a stack of incredible sources today. Attachment theory expert Tice Gibson, dating strategist Emily Loves and Haley Quinn, and approach specialist Ian Miles. And we aren't just going to talk about how to get a date. That's way too small.
Right, because if you just want a date, you can go back on the app and swipe.
Exactly. We're talking about relearning the actual skill of human connection. We're going to break down the psychology of why we're so scared, the golden rule of what to actually say so you don't sound like a weirdo,
Which is key.
and the very strict, very specific etiquette of 2026. Because the rules have absolutely changed. You cannot approach someone in a gym today the way you might have in, say, 1990.
Oh, the gym. We are definitely going to talk about the gym later, because I feel like that is a minefield where reputations just go to die.
It is a high-stakes environment, absolutely. But before we even get to the where and the what, we have to start with the who. We have to talk about what's happening inside your own head before you even stand up to walk across the room.
And this is the stuff from Tice Gibson, right? The
Yeah.
internal work.
Yes. Tice Gibson argues that the real work of dating isn't about having the perfect line. It's about your nervous system. She talks about these things she calls core wounds.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here for a second. I'm a guy. I see a cute girl at a coffee shop. I just want to say hello. Why do I need to worry about my core wounds? Can't I just go say hi? Why do we have to make it therapy?
Because if you don't understand your core wounds, you probably won't go say hi. Or if you do manage to, you'll probably do it in a way that just pushes her away.
How so? What do you mean?
Okay, let's say you have a core wound that says, I am a burden. This is a really common one. You subconsciously believe that your very presence is an annoyance to other people.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
So, if you believe you are a burden, how do you walk up to a complete stranger?
I guess, apologetically, like you're already sorry for existing.
Exactly. You hunch your shoulders.
Yeah.
You avoid eye contact. You mumble. You probably start with something like, sorry to bother you, I know you're busy, but
Yeah.
you are projecting this energy that screams, I shouldn't be here.
And the other person picks up on that energy immediately.
Instantly. They feel uncomfortable because you are so clearly uncomfortable. And then, what happens? They reject you.
And then the guy thinks, see, I knew it. I knew I was a burden.
Precisely. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is why Gibson's work on attachment styles is the absolute foundation. In 2026, you can't just hack the conversation. You have to hack your own nervous system first.
So let's look at these styles. I think most people have heard the terms, but I want to see how they actually play out in a real cold approach scenario. Let's start with the anxious preoccupied.
Okay, the anxious preoccupied. These are the people who are just hypervigilant. Their nervous system is constantly scanning the environment for rejection. It's on high alert.
So paint the scene for me. An anxious preoccupied person is at a bar. They see someone attractive. What is that internal monologue? What's going on in their head?
The monologue is a rapid-fire disaster movie. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a cascade of worst-case scenarios.
Yeah.
They see the attractive person look down at their phone.
Okay.
The anxious brain immediately says, they're bored? They're texting someone who is definitely better than me? If I walk over there, they will literally laugh in my face. Oh, God, they just looked this way and didn't smile. They already hate me.
Wow. It's exhausting just listening to that.
It creates a tremendous amount of internal pressure. And if they do manage to approach, they tend to be overeager. They need validation immediately,
They're seeking approval.
desperately.
Yeah.
So they might talk too fast, laugh a little too loud, or try to lock down the interaction instantly because they just cannot tolerate the uncertainty of a normal conversation.
Okay, let's flip the coin. The avoidant. Let's talk about the dismissive avoidant first.
The dismissive avoidant. This person values their independence above all else. Their core belief, deep down, is often something like, I am fine alone, or intimacy is a trap.
So how does that manifest in the wild? At the bar?
Well, they might see someone attractive and feel that little spark of interest,
Yeah.
but immediately their defense mechanism kicks in.
The wall goes up.
The wall goes up, and they think, ugh, whatever, it's too much effort. They probably want something from me. I'm just going to enjoy my drink.
Yep.
They talk themselves out of the approach, not really out of fear, but more from a sort of cynical fatigue.
And what if they do approach? What does that look like?
It often comes across as cold or even a bit arrogant. They keep that wall up. They might say the right words, but the warmth, the genuine connection isn't there. They're basically ready to eject at the first sign of trouble or neediness.
Then there's the fearful avoidant. This is the complex one, right? The mix of both.
The fearful avoidant is the one who wants connection, but is also completely terrified of it. It's the classic push-pull.
So in an approach scenario, this is the person who...
This is the person who psychs themselves up, starts walking halfway across the room, gets hit with a wave of fear, turns around, goes back to the bar, gets mad at themselves for being a coward, and then just stares at the person from a distance.
A chaotic approach.
Exactly. And it creates this incredibly confusing vibe for the other person. One minute you seem interested, the next you're literally running away. It's erratic.
So the goal then is secure attachment. What does the secure approach even look like? Because that sounds like a unicorn at this point.
It is, but it's a learned skill.
Mm.
A secure person sees someone attractive, and their internal monologue is just simple. It's, I wonder who that is. I wonder if we would get along.
That's it.
That's it. It's driven by curiosity, not by desperation. If they walk up and the person happens to be rude, the secure person thinks, wow, they must be having a bad day, or, okay, I guess we aren't a match. They don't think I am a worthless worm.
That distinction seems absolutely critical. The secure person separates the outcome of the interaction from their value as a human being.
Exactly. And that is the emotional armor you need to wear if you're going to survive the real-world dating scene in 2026. You have to realize you are just gathering data. You aren't auditioning for a role in some movie about your life.
You're just seeing if there's a vibe.
You're just seeing if there's a vibe.
Okay, so let's assume we've done the therapy, we've meditated, we feel reasonably secure for the moment. Now comes the part that I think actually terrifies people the most. The mechanics.
The mechanics.
They're standing there, she's standing over there, the silence is stretching out, and you have that That Jon Favreau panic from the movie Swingers, the scene where he's leaving the voicemail and he just keeps digging the hole deeper and deeper.
A classic example of anxious preoccupation in action, by the way.
Totally. But the fear is real. What on earth do I say? And I feel like for decades, the advice was always use a pickup line. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Or is your father a thief?
Guilt, stop. My soul is cringing.
Right. But people still think they need a line. They think they need to be clever or witty.
And that is the biggest trap. Our experts, Emily Loves and Ian Miles, are crystal clear on this. The pickup line is dead. It belongs in a museum of bad ideas.
Why? I mean, why is being clever so bad?
Because it's artificial. If you walk up to a woman in 2026 and you recite some scripted, clever line, you're signaling two things. One, you're playing a game. And two, you're hiding behind a performance.
It feels salesy.
It's totally salesy. And women today have incredibly high sales resistance because of the apps. They can smell inauthenticity from a mile away.
So if we kill the pickup line, what is left? What's the alternative?
The situational opener.
The situational opener. This is the golden rule of the episode, then. Break it down for me.
It is so elegantly simple. You simply comment on the context that you both share at that exact moment.
Okay, what's the philosophy behind that? Why does this work better than being funny or clever?
Because it is fundamentally low stakes. It doesn't demand a reaction. If I walk up and tell you a joke, I am demanding that you laugh. That's pressure.
Right. Perform for me.
Exactly. But if I just say, wow, it's really crowded in here tonight, I'm just stating a fact. You can agree, you can disagree, or you can totally ignore me. It gives the other person space to choose whether or not to engage. It feels safe.
That's normal.
Exactly. It mimics how people who already know each other talk. It's grounded in reality.
Okay, but I want to get granular here because comment on the context is great advice in theory until you're standing there and your brain just goes completely blank.
It happens.
So we have some specific phrases from the source material, not just for English learners, but for social learners too. I want to test these in specific scenarios.
Let's do it. Role play it out.
Scenario 1, the bar. And let's make it real. It's Friday night. It's loud. Not like nightclub loud, but you have to lean in loud.
Yeah.
You see someone waiting for a drink next to you. You want to open. What do you say?
Okay, so you can't be too subtle here. You have to lean in, slightly respecting their personal space, of course, but close enough to be heard. And you use the environment. Phrase 1. I love this song. Do you have any idea who this is? Or phrase 2. Wow, that drink looks amazing. Can I ask what you ordered?
Okay, let's critique those. I love this song. It seems a little boring.
It is boring.
Oh.
That is the entire point. You are not trying to win a Pulitzer Prize for conversation. You're just trying to bridge the gap from stranger to acquaintance.
Right.
If she knows the band, she'll tell you. If she doesn't, she might say, no idea, but it's pretty good. Boom. You are now in a conversation.
And the drink one.
That one's great because it's functionally relevant to where you are. You're at a bar, drinks are the currency of the environment, and you aren't commenting on her body, you're commenting on her choice. It's respectful.
Okay, scenario 2, the dog park. Now, I feel like this is easy mode because everyone loves talking about their dog.
It's the best place on earth to meet people. The barrier to entry is basically zero.
But what's the line? Is it just nice dog?
A bit generic. You can do better. Try this. I love your dog. What breed is she? Or, if the dog's doing something silly, you join in on that observation. I see your dog also does that same weird thing my dog does.
I like that second one. It creates a little us versus the dogs dynamic. It's playful. It builds an instant team.
Exactly. And notice the tone there. You're not staring directly at the person. You're both looking at the dog. It's what we call a triangulated conversation. You, her, and the dog. It takes all the pressure off of intense, direct eye contact right away.
That's a great tip. Triangulation. Okay, scenario 3. A house party. You there, maybe you only know the host. You see someone standing over by the snacks.
The absolute classic context opener here is searching for social proofs. The line is, so how do you know the person throwing the party?
It's the standard, but I guess it works.
It works because it immediately establishes safety. It says, oh, you know John, I know John too. Therefore, you probably aren't a serial killer.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Or if there's music and people are dancing, you can be a little bit bolder, a little bit more playful.
Okay.
You could say something like, I think you're going to have to show me that dance move.
Whoa, okay. That requires some confidence. That's a different level.
It is. That's flirting. But notice, it is still situational. You're commenting on what is happening right now in your shared environment.
Last scenario. The bookstore. Now, I have to play the skeptic here. As a reader, if I am deep in the sci-fi section and I'm reading the back of a book and some guy taps me on the shoulder, I might bite him. Is this actually allowed?
It is allowed, but the calibration has to be absolutely perfect. You cannot interrupt deep reading. If she is sitting in a chair, headphones on, nose buried in a book abort mission, do not engage. That is a sacred space.
Okay, so when can you engage?
When she's browsing, standing at the shelf, picking something up, putting back down. She's in search mode, not consumption mode.
Got it. And the line?
You have to keep your voice low, match the library vibe. You'd say, have you read any other books by this author? I'm looking for a good read.
That's clever, because you're asking for a recommendation, not hitting on her.
People love to give advice. It makes them feel smart and helpful. You are elevating her status by asking for her expert opinion. It's a sign of respect.
So the common thread in all of these bar, dog park, party, bookstore is that none of them are about her looks.
Correct. And that is 100% deliberate.
We'll definitely touch on that more in the creepiness section, but I want to pivot to a problem I see. We have these lines, we have the scenarios, but going from sitting on my couch for 3 years to talking to a stranger at a bar is a massive jump.
It's huge.
It's like trying to deadlift 300 pounds when you haven't touched a single weight in years.
You will pull a muscle, you'll be shaky, your voice might literally crack. It happened.
So how do we train for this? What's the warm-up?
Both Haley Quinn and Emily Loves talk about this concept of the social warm-up.
Social warm-up.
Think of it exactly like a warm-up set at the gym. You don't start with your max weight. You start with the empty bar. In social terms, this means you do not save all your social energy for the perfect, attractive person you want to date.
Right, because that puts 100% of the pressure on that one single interaction.
Exactly. If you haven't spoken to another human all day, and then you try to hit on the most beautiful person in the room, you are going to be weird. You just are. The barista technique is the solution to this.
So, literally, talk to the barista.
Talk to the barista. Chat with the cashier at the grocery store. Ask your Uber driver how his night is going. Joke with the colleague you see in the elevator.
But wait a second, isn't that annoying? I mean, these people are just trying to do their job.
It all comes down to calibration. We're not saying you should hold up the line for 20 minutes telling your life story. We're talking about micro interactions, a genuine compliment. Hey, thanks so much for the coffee. I really needed this today. Or, man, traffic is crazy out there. Thanks for getting me here.
So you're just greasing the gears of your own social engine.
You're telling your brain, hey, talking to humans is safe. I am a social person. So when you finally see the person you're actually attracted to saying hello, doesn't feel like this huge, scary bomb is going off. It just feels like the 10th conversation you've had that day.
I love that. It totally lowers the pedestal. Now let's talk geography, because in 2026, where are we actually going? The apps are out. Bars can be loud and intimidating. Where do the experts say we should even be?
Well, Hunt Etheridge introduces a concept called the white party rule.
Okay, explain this. Do I need to go buy some white linen pants?
No, it's got nothing to do with the clothes. It refers to any event where the explicit mission of everyone in the room is to meet other people. So think about a networking event, a singles mixer, a pitch conference, a speed dating night.
Ah, so the social contract of the room is literally, please interrupt me.
Exactly. At a coffee shop, the social contract is ambiguous. She might be working, she might be waiting for a friend. At a white party event, the contract is crystal clear. Everyone is there to connect. The rejection rate is so much lower because the barrier to entry is 0.
That's smart. It's basically fishing in a stocked pond.
And Haley Quinn adds to this with what she calls the 51% fact, which women make up 51% of the population. They are literally everywhere. You don't need to find some magical location. You just need a routine that puts you in their path. Co-working spaces, running clubs, paddle clubs, art classes, volunteering.
She mentions female-focused spaces specifically, like Pilates or yoga.
Yes, but this brings us directly into the danger zone.
The danger zone.
We have to talk about context-specific etiquette, because approaching a woman at a singles mixer is easy mode. Approaching a woman at the gym, that is an advanced maneuver. And if you mess it up, you become the creepy gym guy.
And nobody, I repeat, nobody wants to be the creepy gym guy.
No, you'll get stared at, you might get reported at the front desk, and you'll definitely be the subject of a very unflattering group chat.
Okay, so lay down the law for us. What are the rules of engagement for the gym in 2026?
Rule number 1, and this is absolutely non-negotiable, the headphone rule.
If the headphones are on,
You do not exist. If she has those big over-the-ear noise-canceling headphones on, she's in a soundproof booth of her own creation. Do not wave, do
Yeah.
not tap her on the shoulder, do not stand in her eye line until she looks up. Leave her alone.
Okay.
That's clear. Rule number 2, never, ever interrupt a set. If she is actively moving weight, if her face is scrunched up in concentration, wait. It is not the time.
So when can you talk to her? What are the green lit moments?
With transition points, the
Yeah.
water cooler,
Exactly.
when she's re-racking her weights, or ideally right after a class finishes.
The post-class endorphin high.
Exactly. She just finished a salsa or a spin class. She's tired, but she's feeling good. That is a natural moment to open a conversation.
And what do you say? Because I'm guessing nice squats is.
Horrifying. Do not say that, ever.
You look great in those leggings.
Immediate jail. Straight to jail. No.
Okay, so what is the safe open? What's the approved line?
It has to be about functionality or a shared experience. Phrase 1. Hey, do you mind spotting me on this for a sec? That's functionality.
Okay.
Phrase 2. How was the salsa class? I'm thinking about joining. That's shared experience.
Why are these safe? What's the principle?
Because they aren't about her. They're about the activity. You're either asking for help or asking for advice. It frames the entire interaction as gym peers, not predator and prey.
That makes a lot of sense. Keep it professional almost. Now, let's switch gears to the coffee shop or just, on the street. Daytime, the sun is out. The vibe is totally different.
Very different. The gym is intense. The street is transient. It's fleeting.
We mentioned I noticed you're having the same drink line earlier, but there's a timing element here that Emily Loves talks about, the 3-second rule.
Yes.
Is this like the 5-second rule for food you drop on the floor?
No, this is about hesitation. Emily's rule is this. When you see someone you want to talk to, you must move within 3 seconds.
3 seconds. That's barely enough time to even think.
That is the entire point. If you wait longer than 3 seconds, 2 very bad things happen. First, your own brain starts that anxious, preoccupied disaster spiral we talked about earlier. You will talk yourself out of it.
And the second thing?
You start staring.
Ah.
You look away, you look back, you kind of hover, you pace around.
Yeah.
From her perspective, she just sees some guy in her peripheral vision who is acting weird and watching her. That immediately triggers the creep alarm.
So hesitation looks like predation.
Bingo. Moving fast, seeing her, smiling, and walking right over looks like confidence. It looks spontaneous. Hovering looks calculated and predatory.
This brings us to the elephant in the room, the word we keep using, creepy.
Yes. Let's define it.
I feel like a lot of guys, especially the ones listening who are maybe a bit more tech-oriented or introverted, are absolutely terrified of this word. They have this belief that if I am not Brad Pitt, then by default, I am creepy.
That is a myth. A complete myth.
Is it? Be honest.
It is a myth. Look, let's be real. Being conventionally attractive helps. We aren't going to deny biology. But creepiness is not about ugliness. Creepiness is about a lack of calibration.
Define that. Calibration.
Our experts all define creepiness as a failure to read the room and a failure to respect boundaries. It's forcing an interaction that isn't flowing. It is ignoring the no, whether it's spoken or unspoken.
So you could be a supermodel, but if you stand too close and won't let her leave the conversation, you are being creepy.
100%. It's about behavior, not appearance.
So we need to learn to read the do not disturb signs. What are the big red lights?
Ian Miles and Haley Quinn list a few critical ones. First and foremost, closed body language, crossed arms, turning the torso away from you. If you walk up and she physically turns her shoulder to block you, that is a wall. Respect the wall.
Okay, what second?
Eye contact avoidance. If you speak to her and she keeps looking at her phone or just stares at the floor and refuses to meet your eyes, she's not being shy. She is waiting for you to leave.
Right. Okay, what about the blank look? You say hi and she just stares at you. Nothing.
This is the tricky one. A lot of guys interpret the blank look as she hates my guts.
It certainly feels like it in the moment.
But often it's just surprise. She was in her own world, thinking about her grocery list, and suddenly a stranger is talking to her. Her brain is buffering.
Loading. Loading.
Exactly. So a blank look isn't a hard no yet.
Yeah.
But, and this is the key, if you say your next sentence and she gives you these clipped one-word answers, yeah, no, thanks, then you have to disengage.
It feels like pulling teeth.
And if it feels like pulling teeth, stop pulling. Just disengage. A simple, all right, have a nice day, and you walk away.
There is one other major rule for avoiding creepiness that Emily Loves is very, very strict about. And I think this one is hard for a lot of guys because it goes against our basic instincts.
The no appearance compliments rule.
Right. You see a beautiful woman, your first instinct is to say, wow, you are beautiful. Why is that the wrong move?
Think about the context of 2026. If a woman is on a dating app, she has 500 messages sitting in her inbox. Probably 490 of them are some variation of, hey, beautiful, you're hot, or nice eyes.
He's just noise at that point.
It's worse than noise.
Yeah.
In the real world, coming from a complete stranger, it can feel aggressive. It implies that you are looking at her body and you are evaluating it, judging it.
Mhm.
Emily Lives had a very blunt quote on this. If we don't know you, we won't F you.
Subtle.
But it's true. If you open with you're hot, you are signaling that you want sex. And since she doesn't know you from Adam, the answer is no. It makes her put her guard up immediately.
So what's the alternative? We want to be nice. We want to give a compliment.
You compliment a choice she made.
A choice.
You don't compliment her DNA, her eyes, her height, her face.
Yeah.
You compliment something she chose. Her book, her drink, her cool leather jacket, her boots, the way she's training her dog.
So something like, I love that jacket. It has a really great vintage vibe.
Perfect. Because that says, I see your style. I see your personality. It doesn't say, I am staring at your body.
Mm-hmm.
It feels respectful, and it's about her, but not in that objectifying way.
Okay, this is great. So we've opened. We haven't been creepy. We complimented her jacket. She smiled. She said, oh, thanks, it's vintage. And now we're stuck.
The pivot.
The pivot. How do we turn nice jacket into an actual conversation? Because I feel like this is exactly where the air goes out of the balloon for most guys.
Right. So Haley Quinn suggests a few polite transitions. And step one is incredibly simple, but so many people forget it. Offer your name.
I'm Mike, by the way.
Yes. Think about the psychology of that.
Yeah.
If you just compliment her and then stand there silently, you're a fan admiring her. If you say, hi, I'm Mike, by the way, you are introducing yourself as an equal. It invites her to say, I'm Sarah. Now you are two humans, not stranger and target.
Okay, names are exchanged. Now what?
Step two is what I'd call the confidence hack. And it's a bit counterintuitive. It's vulnerability.
Explain this. Because usually guys think confidence means you have to hide your fear at all costs.
That's just bravado. It's not real confidence. Real confidence is being comfortable enough with the truth of the situation. Emily Loves suggests saying something like, I'm actually super shy, but I'm trying to work on my confidence, and I knew that I would kick myself if I didn't come over and talk to you.
Wow. That is really disarming.
It's deeply disarming because you are admitting you aren't a player. You're admitting you're nervous. It makes you instantly relatable and human.
It kills the theme.
It completely kills the game. Or Haley Quinn's version for a class setting. I don't know about you, but this is actually my first time at this class, and it is absolutely killing me.
It creates a bond. We are in this together.
Exactly. Then, step three is making a guess. Do not, under any circumstances, fall into interview mode.
So, where are you from? What do you do for work? Where do you live?
Boring. It feels like a job interview, and nobody wants that. Instead, you make a playful observation, something like, you look like you're totally in your element here, or you look like you do something creative.
And what if you're completely wrong? What if you say, you look creative, and she's like, an accountant?
That's even better. She'll laugh and say, oh, God, no, I'm an accountant. And then you can say, wow, you are the most artistic-looking accountant I've ever met. Now you're flirting. You're having a real interaction.
So being wrong is actually a conversation starter.
It's not a test you have to pass.
Uh-huh.
It's just a prompt to get a real answer.
Okay. We have to address the inevitable reality here. We've given the listeners this entire toolkit, but the reality is sometimes you do everything right. You respect the headphones, you use the perfect situational opener, you offer your name, and she still says, sorry, I have a boyfriend, or just, I'm not interested.
Rejection.
It stings. In 2026, how do we handle this without just retreating back into the hibernation cave for another year?
We have to reframe what rejection even is. Ian Miles talks about this a lot. Rejection is practice, not failure.
Practice.
Have you ever heard of Jia Zhang's rejection therapy experiment?
Vaguely. Is that the guy who went around asking for crazy things just to get people to say no to him?
That's the one. He asked for burger refills at fast food restaurants. He asked to plant a flower in a stranger's backyard. The entire goal was to desensitize himself to the word no, to take away its power.
It's like exposure therapy for social anxiety.
Exactly. Every time you approach a woman and she says no, You should view it as one more rep in the gym. You just got a little bit stronger. You just proved to your nervous system that a no doesn't actually kill you.
And the other side of this is realizing it's probably not even about you.
It almost never is. She might actually have a boyfriend. She might be gay. She might have just gotten fired from her job 5 minutes ago. She might have a splitting migraine. If you take it personally, you're actually being kind of narcissistic. You're making her bad day about your self-worth.
So the final test of a man in 2026 is not the approach, but the graceful exit.
This is where you prove you have a secure attachment style. This is the whole ball game.
How do you do it? What's the move?
If she signals disinterest, you do not argue. You do not try to convince her. You definitely do not get angry or passive-aggressive. And this is crucial. You do not linger.
Lingerers are perceived as creepy.
Lingerers are always creepy. You just smile, you look her in the eye, which shows you aren't intimidated or ashamed, and you say clearly and calmly, "It was a pleasure to meet you." And then you turn and you walk away.
Head held high.
Head held high. Because how you handle a no says infinitely more about your character than how you handle a yes. If you can take a rejection with dignity and grace, you leave the interaction better than you found it. You've made her feel safe, even if she wasn't interested, and that's a win.
That is powerful. It really shifts the goal from getting the girl to being a high-value, respectful man. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, from the internal nervous system all the way to the white party rule and the specific phrases for the dog bark. Let's try to boil this all down. If our listener is ready to put the phone in their pocket and step out the door right now, what is the summary checklist for the 2026 approach?
I would break it down into 4 main pillars. Number 1, respect personal space. Don't corner people. Don't linger. Read the body language. Safety is the absolute prerequisite for any kind of attraction.
Okay, number 2.
Number 2, be socially intelligent. Don't be a hunter who only targets the prettiest woman in the room. Be a social person. Warm up with the barista. Chat with the old lady at the bus stop. Build that social momentum throughout your day.
Got it. 3.
Number 3, dress the part. We didn't touch on this too deeply, but Ian Miles mentions it. Dress slightly better than the context requires. If you're at a coffee shop in old sweatpants, you feel lazy. If you're in a nice jacket, you feel more confident. It helps you believe in yourself.
And the last one.
And number 4, the most important one, practice. It is a skill. It's like cooking or tennis or coding. You will be bad at it at first. You will burn the first few meals. That is okay. That is part of the process. Do it anyway.
I think that's the message. It is a skill, not some magic trick you're born with.
And I want to leave our listener with one final thought. A provocation, really.
Let's hear it.
It goes all the way back to Tice Gibson and her work. We need to fundamentally change what we think dating even is.
What do you think it is now?
We think it's a performance. We think we're on a stage, auditioning for love, desperately hoping the judge gives us a passing score, and that whole frame creates anxiety. It creates neediness. It creates creepiness.
So what should it be instead?
It should be information gathering.
Yeah.
You're not an actor. You are an explorer. You are just gathering data. Who is this person? What are they like? Do we vibe? Is this fun for me?
That shifts the power dynamic completely. It puts you back in control.
It does. If you walk up to someone thinking, I hope they like me, please, please like me, you are needy. But if you walk up thinking, I wonder who this person is, let's find out, you're curious. You are secure. And ironically, that is infinitely more attractive.
Stop auditioning. Start exploring.
That is the key to connection in 2026.
Well, there you have it. The guide to escaping the app trap. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go to a coffee shop today. Keep the phone in your pocket, find someone drinking a latte, and just ask them if it's any good.
The worst they can say is no, and that's just practice.
Exactly. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you out there in the real world.